Hello everyone, welcome to this session of the South Dakota Indian Education Virtual Conference called Putting Our Minds Together. This session is called Hands-on Learning Suitcase Education Kits, and it comes to you from the Museum of the South Dakota State Historical Society. My name is Ronette Rumpca, and I am the Curator of Interpretation for the museum, and I'm responsible for developing and scheduling the education kits as they go out. South Dakota Historical Society has been sending out education kits since 1996. At that time, we started out with 2 kits on 2 topics. Today, we have 31 kits on 14 different topics that go out all around the state. All the kits include hands-on materials that you will be able to see in front of me, a teacher's guide which has worksheets and lesson plans. And today we're going to talk about what goes into the kits, how we develop them, why we develop them, and show you some of the materials that come in each one of the kits, for 2 of them anyway. Why do we bother to do kits? Well, our goal at the South Dakota State Historical Society Museum is to get quality programming, historical materials, and solid information into the hands of South Dakotans of all ages. And the kits are a great way to do that, and they truly are the core of our outreach efforts. Learning styles are different. I'm sure in your classrooms you've had kids who you can talk at till you're blue in the face, and they can't hear you, but if you write it down, oh, suddenly they get it. Or you have that kid who might not hear you, but if you hand him something, suddenly things start to make sense. We want to put things into people's hands so that they can appeal to all of those learning styles. Object-based kits are also a great way to encourage analysis and reflection. It's one thing to read about a buffalo. It's one thing to see a picture of a buffalo. And it's quite another thing to pick up a buffalo bone and see, what does it weigh? How big is this bone? And if it's teeth, it's a jawbone. Am I bigger than a buffalo? Probably not. But it gives you a sense of dimension, size, that perhaps you aren't going to get from just a picture or just a conversation. In 1996, the South Dakota Historical Society Museum did 2 in-gallery or in-house programs. One was called the Buffalo and the Plains Indians, and one was called the Indians and the Environment. And they were done for 2nd graders and 3rd graders respectively. Those programs are still done here in Pierre, which means that the Pierre kids have an opportunity to come to the museum and participate in those programs. But they were so successful and people liked them so much that the decision was made back in 1996 to develop a way to get those programs on the road. So what they did was got some materials, developed some lesson plans, did a little research, put them into at that time, J.C. Penney wheeled suitcase, and started shipping them around the state. And that was the start of our program today. 2 cases, now we're up to 31. We have 14 different topics, and I'm going to go through those topics, give you a brief overview of them. The Buffalo and the Plains Indians, first developed in 1996 and has since been upgraded, teaches how the Sioux used the buffalo for food, clothing, and shelter. South Dakota Environments, which is the kit that developed out of Indians and the Environments, talks about environments both past and present in South Dakota. If you are looking for an education kit that includes dinosaurs, that's going to be the one that has a small section on that environment when it was part of South Dakota. Fur trade, Bridging Two Worlds, looks at the interaction between white and Sioux cultures during the fur trade era. Cowboys and Ranch Life, developed in 2000, explores the history and development of cattle and sheep ranching in South Dakota. Homesteading, that's probably one of our most popular kits, looks at the important role that early settlement played in the state. Lewis and Clark in South Dakota, another popular kit, originally was developed in 2002 and was updated in 2011, and that features the people, animal, and plants that the Corps of Discovery encountered when they traveled up the Missouri River through what was going to be South Dakota. That kit isn't covering St. Louis to the Pacific Ocean. We're focusing solely on what was going to become South Dakota and what they encountered there. Archaeology in South Dakota talks about the processes of archaeological work, prehistoric people and cultures. Mining in South Dakota explores the history of mining in the state, from the gold rush of the 1870s in the Black Hills to the coal mines of the 1930s. Who knew there were coal mines in South Dakota? To the quarrying that goes on today. If you have a gravel pit near your house, you have somebody who's doing mining. South Dakota Immigrants tells the story of the different ethnic groups that made South Dakota their home and compares their cultures to each other and to the Sioux culture they encountered when they moved here. Dakota, Nakota, Lakota Life examines the history, culture, and traditions of the Dakota, Nakota, and Lakota people here in the state. South Dakota Places explores natural places, such as the Badlands, as well as places shaped by people like Mount Rushmore. And that is also the kit that talks about wildlife habitats. And if you're looking for a kit that discusses specifically state symbols, that's the one you want. There's a great activity in there where you get clues as to what that state symbol might be, and then you get to get some pictures and some information about the state symbol. One-room schoolhouse learning explores the experience of attending a one-room school and the important role that the school played in the community. Trading Posts and General Stores looks at how early stores did business and some of the merchandise that they carried. Much different than going to Walmart today to go to a general store. South Dakota Transportation covers all aspects of getting around in the state, from walking to a wagon trail to a jet plane. In the kits, when you get them, you are going to find hands-on materials, which we'll look at in a bit, and you're also going to find a teacher's guide. And the teacher's guide is consistent from kit to kit to kit. Once you've seen one, the format stays the same from one kit to another. It comes with a table of contents. It comes with a page that gives you the goals and materials, lists every object that is in that kit. And it also includes what we call the teacher resource or background information sheet. This is a 5 to 10 page footnoted research paper on the topic of the kit. Books are written on the topics of all of our kits, so we are not trying to give you the story from A to Z. What we want to do is give you enough information to be successful with the kit in your classroom. And this is one of those pieces where if you were beamed down from Mars and suddenly told that, guess what, next week is homesteading for fourth graders and you're on, you could look at this research paper and get enough information to successfully work that topic about South Dakota with homesteading and your fourth graders. From there, we also have various other information depending on the topic of the kit. We have worksheets. All of the kits come with a word find, a word scramble, and a crossword puzzle. And use them, and they also come with keys, of course, to all of those. And then you get into the, oops, let me find the right page here. Some of them have things like dot to dots, but all of the other activities that come with the kits are designed in a very specific format. You are going to get the title of the activity. You are going to get the objectives of the activity. What is expected that the students will learn. And then in a couple of boxes, you are going to get how this activity helps you to meet the South Dakota State Department of Education standards. There might be English language standards, there might be social studies standards, there can also be Ochete Sakawan standards. So depending on the activity, those standards are going to be listed. You get a time frame, how long might this activity take you? And you're going to get the materials that you need to do this activity. Those are going to be broken up into materials you get in the kit, materials you as the instructor may need to provide, and things that the participants may need. I want you to have an idea of exactly what's needed before you start an activity. If your kids need to have crayons and paper, you should know that going in. You get a little background information, and then you get activity steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3, how can I make this activity work in my classroom? And of course, none of this is written in stone. Once you have hands-on materials in your classroom, you'll find that you know your class best, and you'll know how to best use these materials with your students. Let's take a look at some of the materials that we have here in these kits. Today I have the Buffalo and the Plains Indians kit with me, and the Dakota Nakota Lakota Life kit with me. So let's take a look at some of the materials that come in the Buffalo kit. We have this little honey, which is always a favorite. This is called an atlatl, and it's an early weapon. It was a spear throwing tool. It's about 2 feet long. It has a hook on one end, and you would have had a long spear-like arrow that went on this. You would hold this back, have your arrow on here. Here comes your mammoth. Throw the arrow at it. Having this much reach gave you much more power than just throwing it with your hand. That was an early weapon. Then you'd move on to the bow and arrow. We have one of the most fun objects in this kit is this little one. This is a fake buffalo poop. And it's so funny to watch people, grown-ups do this all the time. You hand this to them, they pick it up, they go, ew, and then they do this. Because you just can't help yourself. It's not real, it's made of rubber, but it does look real enough where you think, does it? It doesn't. It smells like rubber. This kit also, due to the information we got from some of the teachers when they evaluated this early kit, they said they wanted more bones in this kit. So we added a bunch more bones to this one. We've got a rib bone, neck bone, hump bone, shoulder blade, and a jawbone. Some leg bones. These bones are ones that we're going to talk about using in one of the activities in a little while. Let's move on to Dakota Nakota Lakota Life. Other things that we include in the kit, depending on the topic, can be images. These are traditional dance and fancy dance posters. This one is about the use of the buffalo. Books, CDs. There are dance and movement activities in some of the kits. We've got drum, hand drum. We've got got sweetgrass, which always smells like sweetgrass. What a wonderful odor that is. We have a turtle shell omelet. We've got a doll. Samples of buffalo hide in both suitcase kits, and just a variety of other hands-on things. We have a turkey bone whistle, a sample of quill work, and then, of course, beadwork, so you can see the difference. And all of these materials and all of the kits come packed into foam-lined cases. Each object has its own little home, and those homes are listed on the front of the case so that you can pack it easily and the kids can pack it easily, so you know where all the objects will go. The kits circulate for a 2-week period, and the cost for them is $35 for that 2 weeks. That includes all your shipping. There's no other thing you need to do. When you schedule a kit, I will schedule it for you, and I will also schedule the kit pickup so that you know when that kit's being picked up. And again, $35, one-stop shopping, talk to Ronette, it's all done for you. When you get the kit, it's going to look like this. They all come in the same hard-covered, wheeled suitcase formats. And inside that kit, you're going to see the materials. The boxes will be in there, but to repack it, you're going to also get a packing diagram so that you know exactly where those boxes should fit when you're putting that kit back together to ship back. And this is something that has sort of become one more activity with the kit, because you can have the kids pack the boxes and pack the boxes into the kit. Another thing that you're going to get in the kit is some paperwork. You're going to get a return label, which you need to put on just so that when the kit is picked up, they know to bring it back to me. And you're going to get a press release copy that you can either use hard copy or put out in an email. Let everybody know that you're using an education kit in your classroom. You're going to get an evaluation form. This is really important for me because this is how I determine what an upgraded kit will look like. If teachers have been telling me they love an activity, that's going to stay. If there's an activity that's in there that's a little, maybe not, that one might drop out or get replaced. And if you have ideas for another kit, tell me what your favorite object was. Tell me what the kid's favorite object was. That's really important information for me to have. And then the final thing you're going to get here is a return checklist. Again, makes it very easy for either you or your kids to check off, make sure everything that came in the kit goes back in the box before you ship it off. So remember, they all come in a box. The box has wheels. I have it on very good authority that this case can be carried, can be wheeled by 2 4th graders with a 3rd, 4th grader riding on top. So they are sturdy, they are durable, and it takes a lot to break these kits. Another thing I want to say is if something comes up missing or something is broken, please just let me know that on the return form. No judgment, no, it doesn't matter. This is hands-on stuff. Yes, things will get broken, things will disappear. Just let me know. That's all I need to do. So, thank you for listening for me today. I appreciate the Indian Education Summit giving me the opportunity to speak to them about our education kits, and I hope I will be hearing from some of you as you schedule our kits in your classroom. Please enjoy the rest of your conference.